morning, and I'd like to call the September 16th, 2021 voting session to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Colleen, will you please call roll?
Mr. Ambrose?
Present.
Mr. Bloom?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Moad?
Here.
Mr. O'Neill?
Here.
Mr. Ross?
Here.
Dr. Eunice? Mr. Zaritsky?
Here.
Ms. Belcastro?
Here. Mr. Mailer.
To open this meeting, last meeting there was some issues dealing with whether or not the public had notice of the rules of procedure that would be used to conduct the public meeting. The website of the district did publish the governance or the rules for tonight's meeting, and I'd like to review those. Number one, face coverings must be worn in order to enter the meeting. The coverings must remain on during the meeting. Removal of a face covering during the meeting and refusal to comply after requested will result in removal from the meeting. Each comment made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes without exception. Last week we had people talking for 20 minutes. That cannot happen at this meeting. No participant shall speak more than once on the same topic. All statements shall be directed to the president of the board. No participant may address or question the board members individually. And again, at the last meeting, that's not what occurred. That will happen tonight. You can make your comments. They will not be responded to. That's not required. 2, failure to follow requirements outlined by the board may result in terminate the time for participant to provide statements if too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, or obscene. Request any individual to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers to remove a disorderly person when his or her conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting. Call a recess or adjourn to another time when lack of public decorum interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. And that includes going over the 3-minute limit or being disrespectful. So these were published. I would ask the gentleman in blue to put your face mask on, please. Thank you. A couple other points I would like to talk about this evening. I viewed the tape of the last meeting, and quite frankly, I was a little bit upset that members of the audience were taking unfounded shots at our law firm, calling us small, essentially saying we don't know what we're doing. Our firm has been in existence for 40 plus years. And for those 40 years, we have practiced law in the public sector, representing school districts, authorities, municipalities, and all types of public entities. Our firm has approximately 27 people in the firm at our main office. We have other offices, but this is the main office. Out of that 27, we have 15 attorneys, paralegals, and other support personnel. That's not a small law firm, ladies and gentlemen. It's not Reed Smith, Shaw, McClay with 2,000 attorneys. We never want to be that. But we're experts in what we do. Just think about who formed the Central Valley School District. We did. We have backgrounds in special education, disability rights, administrative procedures, litigation, constitutional law, civil rights. We've practiced in federal court, state courts, all the administrative bodies throughout the Commonwealth and in federal courts. Our school team probably has a combined experience of over 150 years. I'm probably older than most people here, and I've been practicing law for a long time, and that's all I've done. Not only are we solicitors, but we've been appointed special counsel by various school districts to handle special situations. Someone brought up last week about do we have medical people on staff? We're not a medical office. We're a law firm. We interpret the law, and we're good at it. Certainly, I respect the differences of my fellow attorneys on this issue, but quite frankly, we don't poll the attorneys in Pennsylvania, the solicitors, and say, what do you think? And then we come to our decision on the number of them, which on one side or another. We don't do that. We interpret the law the way we see it. So with that said, I would like to also bring you up to date on the Commonwealth litigation, Commonwealth Court litigation that's presently proceeding through the court system. We are a country of laws, and we do have a judicial system. That judicial system will make the final determination, not you, not me, not anybody on this board, as to whether or not the Secretary of Health had the right to issue that mandate. Presently, let me just take one step back. I don't want to get too complicated on this, but the petitioners, we'll call them plaintiffs, filed for emergency release of a preliminary injunction asking the courts to stay the enforcement of the state mandating masking law. That's phase one. At the same time, they filed a petition for review, which would be like a complaint. So it's a two-step process. First, the courts will rule on that emergency application for a preliminary injunction, and regardless of which way it goes, they still have to take the next step and have hearings and so forth on the petition for review. Right now, the court has issued what we call a scheduling order for the parties to brief the issues involved. The petitioner or plaintiff's briefs were due today, in fact, September the 16th. The respondent or the state will issue their briefs and file them with the court on September 27th. After that, the court will hear arguments and make a decision on the emergency application for a preliminary injunction. I have counseled this board that it would be totally irrelevant and a waste of taxpayers' money for this school district to file a lawsuit. Why? Because we'd be filing that lawsuit in the same court where this present lawsuit and other lawsuits are being filed. And whatever the court decides in this lead lawsuit would in all likelihood be applicable to anything we would file. So to file a lawsuit to me would be really just a waste of your taxpayer dollars, and we will get a decision from the courts hopefully within the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. You know what they say about the wheels of justice moving slowly and finally. So that's where we are on litigation. And again, I want to emphasize that certainly we could file a lawsuit, but it would be an idle and vain act to do so. Lastly, we received a memo from some law firm called the Winter Group. I have no idea who they are, why we got it. We will not respond to that. It's not our role to answer questions proposed by an attorney. If he has these 10 questions, why doesn't he give you 10 answers? He doesn't need us to answer it if he has the questions. He doesn't represent anyone. This is gratuitous. So we will not be responding to that. And I want to thank everyone this evening for wearing your face masks. I think the board appreciates that. So my long dissertation is over, Madam Chairman.
Okay, executive session.
Yes, I'm sorry. We did have an executive session Monday, a virtual executive session to discuss legal issues.
Okay. So we are going to move to public comments on agenda items. Again, if you are speaking, state your name, first name and last name, and your address. I am going to tell you that we are timing. with 30 seconds left, I will give you a heads up that you have 30 seconds remaining. And then after your 3 minutes are up, we will move on to the next person. Any comments on agenda items? Okay. Moving on. To approve the combined voting session minutes from August 19th, 2021. That can be found on attachment A. Can I have a motion on item 1?
So moved.
Zaritsky, second. Mr. Ambrose. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report, Mr. King.
The following bills and reports are submitted for approval. A, pay bills. Confirm the 2021, August 2021 general fund payments in the amount of $2,339,839.01. Attachment B. Number 2, to confirm the August 2021 cafeteria fund payments in the amount of $50,206.40. Attachment C. The report to approve the August 2021 Berkheimer report. Attachment D. I will make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Moad seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board policies. Number 1, to approve the negotiated settlement recommended by the solicitor in the property assessment appeal involving Target Corporation, establishing assessed values of $1,694,160 for the tax year 2021 and $1,678,050 for the tax year 2022. Number 2, to approve the negotiated settlement recommended by the solicitor in the property assessment appeal involving ARC Timmon PA 001 LLC and 5 separate tax parcels, increasing the assessment on the Lowe's parcel from $2,369,250 to $2,557,500 for the tax year 2022, and decreasing the assessment on the township marketplace parcel from $3,074,770 to $2,851,200 for 2022, while sustaining the assessments for all other tax parcels implicated by the appeal for 2021 and 2022. And number 3, to approve the negotiated settlement recommended by the solicitor in the property assessment appeal involving Ardex, establishing fair market values of $13,500,000 for 2021 and $12,150,000 for 2022, and which reduces the property assessment from $3,378,718 to $2,450,000 in 2021, and from $3,373,718 to $2,004,750 in 2022. I so move. Second.
Second.
Mr. Moad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. O'Neill, there's nothing there.
Just an announcement, Mr. Zaritsky and Mr. King, I have 5 contracts that are going to be up, and we'll have to get together maybe sometime next week to check them out and then have a meet and discuss with the parties perhaps. We'll see how we want to handle it.
Okay. Mr. Ross, Education.
Number 1, to approve, confirm the release time, staff development requests. The conference is listed on the left, where the annual CHS statistics meeting, Allison Charovia, on the date 9/14/2021. Annual CHS math meeting virtual, again, Allison Charovia, 9/30/2021. 2021. BC Librarian Meeting at the BVIU, Beth Ann Pohl, 9/16/2021. To approve the, number 2, to approve the 2021-22 supplemental positions, attachment E. So moved.
Second.
Okay, second? Sorry.
Mr. Bloom.
Mr. Bloom, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Moab, anything?
Nothing on technology right now, thank you.
Mr. King, we are back with you for athletics.
Number 1, to approve the following fall conditioning programs for 60 hours at $10 an hour. A, Brandon Ambrose boys basketball, Chris Rasso girls basketball, Kevin Morose wrestling. Number 2, to approve a 3-year contract with Center Township Police for security services for home football games, attachment F. Number 3, to approve a 3-year contract with the Center Township Police for security services for home basketball games, attachment G. Number 4, to accept the resignation of Chris Rasso, head 8th grade girls basketball coach, effective immediately. Number 5, to approve the following 2021-22 middle school girls basketball coaches: Natalie Kondo, 8th grade head coach, $1,000. Elena Puring, 7th grade head coach, $1,000. Chris Rasso, volunteer, 0. To approve, number 6, to approve Shannon Sullivan as head girls softball coach at a stipend of $4,000, pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Zaritsky, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under extracurricular, there is just an FYI for the field trips, and you see it in the chart. Mr. Zaritsky, Building and Grounds.
Yes, to approve and confirm the following building usage requests pending final approval from the superintendent regarding the review of the organization's health and safety plan, as well as a liability waiver sign-off. In the chart, you see the building, organization, the dates, and the purpose. And just want to let the board know that due to some scheduling conflicts and everything, I know that myself and Dr. Perry spoke to the Building and Grounds Committee. We're starting to just put a few items together, some hit list items that need to be addressed over the next several months.
Okay,
And I'll make that motion.
okay, second. Mr. Bloom, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel, Mr. Bloom.
Yes, sir. 3 items. Number 1, to approve Kelsey Hudasek as a paraprofessional at a rate of $13.50 an hour in accordance with the CVESP agreement, pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances, effective September 17th, 2021. Number 2, to approve Sarah Snatchko as a paraprofessional at a rate of $13.50 an hour in accordance with the CVESP agreement, pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances, effective September 17th, 2021. And number 3, to approve Kim Wary as a paraprofessional at a rate of $13.50 an hour in accordance with the CVESP agreement, pending receipt, review, acceptance of all clearances, effective September 17th, 2021. I so move.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ross, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Ambrose, anything?
Nothing at this time, Madam Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. So we are going to move to public comments. Again, state your name, your address, and I will give you a signal that you have 30 seconds remaining.
Brandy, Center Township.
What's the last name?
Last name,
Patterson.
too.
I'm sorry?
Last name, too.
Patterson. I wanted to thank you. I came in just a minute late. I missed your name and such, but I appreciate you coming. I wanted to clear up one small concern from last week's comments. we don't expect you to have medical experts at your firm. We do, however, and it was a concern that there's no medical law experts at your firm. And anytime HIPAA was brought up last week, Mr. Hallisey had nothing to say, nor could he say anything, it seemed as if. So, our concern is that when we are here and we are required to provide medical documentation, then where are the HIPAA laws here? And is there knowledge and is there expertise, behind that, guiding our board as such? Also, just from our standpoint, again, after calling directly and talking with the health department, the Department of Education, all the state reps, we hear that the board's hands are tied. And I get that. It is it's yet to be clear if it's a law or not. But who is tying the hands of our board, and why is our solicitor taking the recommendation on the FAQ page? It's recommended to treat it as a 504, but why is there such a strong hold to do so when other firms are directing their school districts to do it differently? Butler has an exemption form on their site. You simply fill it out, and you have to just require a statement signed by a medical professional to back it up. You don't have to say what a disability is. So our concern is why are these solicitors informing our board, and where are the hands being tied? It's just unclear. There's just a piece of information that's missing. I understand you're following your guidance, but nobody is holding or claiming liability or claiming responsibility for who is actually tying your hands. Is it the teachers' unions? Is it the PSEA? Who is it? Why are we so fearful of this? And why are we taking this route when other school districts aren't? That's all our concern is. And I can't find an answer. I called everybody this week. The health department says it's up to the schools, however they want to handle their exemption. And so again, it's coming back to you guys in the way that you're handling it, when there are just towns just a little ways away that are handling it much differently and buying us more time. So if these court cases do come to fruition, and of course the induction it would be in vain, right? So I'm sorry, the right term, but my point is that why can't we do what they're doing to buy us a little bit more time before we mask our kids so quickly? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, James Peters, 2596 Front Street. I was coming to follow up on a question last week that I had for the school solicitor, where I asked on what grounds were we being denied religious exemptions for this. I couldn't be given an answer last week, so I asked if we could be given an answer this week. So I was hoping to get a follow-up for that. And then also, since the mask mandate is being litigated currently, every time we call in or ask questions about what are the repercussions of the mask mandate, we're referred to the Central Valley Student Handbook, which would refer to this as not wearing a mask as a Class 2 insubordination. And one of the repercussions of that is a parent conference. And in the student handbook, it also states that we're not obligated to increase or decrease the punishment. It's basically left up to our administration. While this is being litigated, could we possibly have a stance as a board or a district that we could just have like parent, student, and teacher conferences for the insubordination for that, and guaranteeing that a child isn't going to be thrown out of school for not wearing a mask. And then once the final litigation comes out, we can address that whenever it happens. But I'd like some clarity on that, if we could, please.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then since nobody's going to comment, I do have one last comment. I have a little girl. She is in kindergarten. She's in 5th grade. I've spent the last 5 years instilling a love for education and a desire to learn. And in 3 weeks of attending this school, she got up this morning and was crying and saying, I don't want to go to school today. I don't want to wear the mask. I don't want to ride the bus. I don't want to talk to the teachers. And that was after 3 weeks. And this was a little girl that was skipping and excited to come every day until now. And that's not me. That's what's going on here. So if you could please consider that when you make decisions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane Sarver, Heather Drive. Monaca. First, I wanted to say how disappointed I am that you think it would be a waste of my taxpayers' money to file an injunction. I would think it would have been a waste of money if our forefathers would have just said, don't want to waste that money, let's not fight for our rights. So shame on you. I did, however, want to commend Mr. McCreary, met with him today, came to an amicable agreement. I wanted to thank him for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cindy Phillips, Center Township. I do solemnly swear to support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and to discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Does that expire? Does it get put on hold for any reason? You have a personal responsibility to honor the oath that you swore while raising your hand before God, our Creator, who breathed life through our nostrils. We also have a law, Marbury versus Madison. You might be familiar. All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Versus the Disease Prevention and Control Act that this is all based on, which is based on quarantining sick people, not healthy people. It was based on tuberculosis and gonorrhea. I don't think that's the current issue. You can be a part of the problem, or you can be a part of the solution. I feel like this board has chosen to be part of the problem. I wonder why kids are exiting Central Valley School District. Is it because our school district won't provide safety testing like CO2 testing to make sure we're not causing brain damage, heart damage, lung damage? Cancer cells love depleted oxygen. How much cancer are we going to have in these kids in the next few years? We're teaching kids to be submissive and succumb to tyranny, to be followers, not leaders, to live in fear, to be victimized. There's a large problem with sex trafficking, even in this area. Let's not promote that. Let's not condition these kids to be a part of that. Let's build them up. Let's come up with a solution. You have community support. You can take offense here. And I expect that from the people that we elected to provide safety for our schools, to provide an education for our students. You're elected to do a good job taking care of my kids. But rather than protect the authority we have given you, you're giving it away to Harrisburg when there are no real consequences for defying the order. No citations will hold. They have not. They've all lost in court. So please do what's right. Please stop abusing our children.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Reagan Schwer, 123 York Way, Monaca, Pennsylvania. I was excited to go back to school this year because I would not have to wear a mask. The first week of school was great. No one bothered me about wearing one. When my mom told me that everyone had to wear a mask again at school, I was very upset. Wearing a mask makes it hard to breathe. It's uncomfortable and fogs up my glasses. I get headaches and my eyes hurt. Wearing a mask makes me feel anxious and sad. I didn't really want to go to school. My mom sent in something to the school explaining that I should not wear a mask. Other kids bothered me. Then the principal told my mom they needed more information or I would have to wear the mask again. I got very anxious and sad again. I was afraid I would get in trouble. I have never been in trouble before. The kids at school kept bullying me about wearing a mask, so I put it on. I am upset and anxious every day before school. Thank you for listening.
Any others, comments? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for abiding by the 3-minute rule. Dr. Perry?
I also want to echo that. Thank you for, complying with the rules tonight. I truly do appreciate that. Tomorrow will end approximately 2 weeks since the order has been laid out for us. As I stated, the district would work with parents to look at exceptions, and with regards to the medical claims, medical exceptions, so on and so forth. We will continue to do that, but it will be expected that as of Monday, folks will comply with the mask mandate or some facial covering mandate, should we not provide appropriate documentation for exceptions. So our administration will continue to work with our families, continue to work with our community, but we do want folks to know that as of Monday, we will start to move forward and address folks that are not complying with the mandate.
Is that it?
That's all.
Any board members?
Nope.
No? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Ambrose, do I have a second? Mr. Bloom, all in favor?
Aye.